Good morning, everyone, and welcome. So today, we're going to move beyond the textbook, right? We're going to step into the real, bustling markets of China. Our goal here isn't just to memorize a few phrases. It's to really understand, to master the art and the science of a real-world shopping trip. We're going to break down the language, sure, but also the culture, the strategy, so that by the time we're done here, you'll feel ready to handle this whole experience with some real confidence.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the absolute basics, the vocabulary you just can't do without. Then we'll use those words to build the most important question you can ask when you're shopping. After that, we dive into the fun part, the cultural dance of bargaining. We'll learn how to close the deal, and then finally we'll put it all together and see what a full conversation actually sounds like. It's a step-by-step process, building from single words right up to a real live interaction.
So, let's get started. Section 1, Foundation of Vocabulary. You really have to think of these as the essential tools in your toolbox. Before we can even dream of building sentences or bargaining, we have to get a solid grip on the core words that make any kind of transaction possible. This is the foundation for everything else we're going to do today.
All right, our very first character is qian, pronounced qian. This, of course, means money. Now let's take a closer look at the character itself, because it's pretty fascinating. On the left side, you see the radical jin. That means gold or metal. So right away, that part gives us a clue about the meaning. It's about value, about currency. Then, the part on the right gives us a hint about the sound. So the character itself is telling a story. Valuable metal is money. It's a perfect little example of how Chinese characters mix meaning and sound together.
Next up, we have the verb mai. This means to buy. Now, I really want you to pay attention to the tone. It's the third tone. That's the one that goes down and then back up. Mai. Can we all try that? Mai. One of the most common mistakes students make is just making it flat, but that little dip and rise is absolutely crucial for people to understand you. This is the action you're going to be doing as the customer.
And here is its opposite, mai. This one means to sell. Notice the tone here is completely different. It's the fourth tone, that sharp falling one. It's like you're dropping something heavy. Mai. Let's try it. Mai. This is what the shopkeeper is doing. And you can see it looks almost exactly like to buy, which means that tone makes all the difference in the world. Okay, now let's put them side by side, because this is where so many learners get tripped up. Look at the characters. The only tiny difference you can see is that little cross at the top of mai, to sell. That's actually the character for 10. So maybe you can remember it by thinking you're selling something for 10 coins. But honestly, the most important difference is the one you hear. Mai versus mai. Let's do it one more time. The gentle dip of buying, mai. And that sharp drop for selling, mai. Seriously, if you mix these two up, you could end up in some pretty funny or expensive situations.
All right, let's move on and see how we can start putting these pieces together. Section 2, Asking how much. Now that we've got our basic ideas down, money, buying, selling, we can build the single most useful question you will ever ask in a market.
So let's imagine the scene. You're in a market, there's stuff everywhere. You see a beautiful scarf and you pick it up. You already know you want to buy, mai, not to sell, mai. So what's the next thing you need to do? How do you actually ask how much it costs using the words we just learned?
And here's your answer. 多少钱, pronounced 多少钱. Let's take this apart. We already know 钱 means money. The first part, 多少 is really cool. It literally means many, few. See, in Mandarin, instead of just one word for how much, you combine the character for many, 多, and the character for few, 少. So you're literally asking many, few money? It's such a logical and efficient way to form a question, isn't it?
And the grammar here is wonderfully simple. It's a classic topic-comment structure. You say the topic first, the thing you're talking about, and then you make your comment or ask your question. So for this thing, we say 这个. So all you have to do is point to the item or hold it up and ask 这个多少钱? Let's all say that together. Ready? 这个多少钱? Perfect. And now we get to section 3. This is really where knowing the language bumps up against knowing the culture, because bargaining in a lot of Chinese markets isn't just about saving money. It's an expected part of the whole social interaction. It's a kind of performance, a social dance. Knowing the words is only half of it. You have to know the steps, too.
This is your opening move. This is your first line in the negotiation. The vendor tells you the price, and you respond with 太贵了. 太贵了. It means too expensive. The tai la structure is how you say something is too much. But the delivery is everything. You don't just say it flatly. You need a little bit of drama, a little bit of friendly surprise in your voice. Let me show you. 太贵了.
The whole thing really follows a pretty predictable script. It's almost like a dance with set moves. Step 1, you act a little shocked. 太贵了. Step 2, you make a counteroffer. A great phrase for this is 便宜一点, which just means a little cheaper. 便宜 is cheap, and 一点 is a little bit. It's a really polite way to suggest a lower price. After that, it's a bit of back and forth until you either agree on a price or, and this is your secret weapon, you politely walk away.
So this is the really crucial part, understanding the rules of the game. First, you have to know where to play. You would never, ever try to bargain in a big, modern department store. That would be a huge social blunder. This is for outdoor markets, tourist spots, places like that. Second, you have to keep it friendly. A smile makes a world of difference. This is a game, not a fight. Third, think ahead. Don't start with the highest price you're willing to pay. Start lower, so you have some room to move. And last, and most importantly, your biggest power move is your ability to walk. If you can genuinely say thank you and start to walk away, that is often when you'll get the best offer.
So, that brings us to Section 4, closing the purchase. Let's say you've done the bargaining dance. You've both agreed on a price you're happy with. Now you just need the right words to seal the deal clearly and politely.
好的，我买了. 好的 is super common. It just means okay or all right. 我买 is I buy, but that little particle at the end, 了, is so important. In this case, that 了 basically signals that a situation is changed. You were just thinking about it before, but now a decision has been made. The state is changed from not buying to now buying. So 我买了 really means, okay, the decision is made, I'll take it.
All right, for our last section, we're going to put everything we've talked about together. We're going to see how all these different phrases and cultural bits and pieces actually flow in a real conversation. I'm going to play both the buyer and the seller here, so I want you to listen really carefully to the tone of voice and the pacing for each person.
So the buyer kicks things off. Listen to how they start. 老板. This literally means boss, but it's a really common and respectful way to talk to a shopkeeper, man or woman. It just sets a nice, friendly tone right away. And then comes our key question, said in a polite, curious way. Listen again. 老板, 这个多少钱?
And the seller's response is very direct, very confident.
100块.
100 kuai. Now, kuai is the slang term for the Chinese yuan. It's just like how we say bucks instead of dollars. It's what you'll hear people say every day. The tone is very matter-of-fact. This is their starting price.
And here comes the performance from the buyer. It starts with a little sound of surprise. Ah? Then our key phrase, with feeling, 太贵了. And right after that, a bold counteroffer, cutting the price in half, 50块. But notice what they add at the end, 好吗? That little tag turns it into a question. Is that okay? It makes it sound much less like a demand. So the whole thing sounds like this, 啊,太贵了, 50块, 好吗? Now the seller pretends to be a little shocked too. They say, 不行,不行, which means no way, or that won't work. Repeating it makes it stronger. Then they come back with their new offer, 70块, 70 kuai. And these last two words are the magic touch, 给你. It literally means give you, but what they're really saying is, I'm giving you a special price. It makes the buyer feel like they're getting a great deal. Here's how it sounds, 不行,不行, 70块, 给你.
And this really brings us to the most important point of the whole lecture today. If you want to master something like shopping in China, it's about so much more than just memorizing words. The language, that gives you the tools. But it's understanding the culture, the etiquette, the unwritten rules, the social performance. That's the instruction manual. And without that manual, the tools just aren't as effective. So I'll leave you with this last thing to think about. You now have the skills to bargain in a lively street market. But how would you have to change your language and your entire strategy if you walked into a fancy department store where all the prices are fixed? What different phrases would you need then? How does that power dynamic change? Thinking about how the context completely changes the way we communicate, well, that's the next big step on your path to becoming truly fluent. Thanks, everyone.